200. Add a little bit to it. Okay, so when I came in, I counted about 270 something people. Now, it's something I taught myself to do. I decided that if I wanted to network in any place I went to effectively, I should target 10%. So everyone here, at least before you go home, talk to 30 people a day. And this is important because I want you to tell us everything you didn't tell us in the book. Who is Dr. Evans Duah?
So, I think one thing that has defined me throughout my whole life is the fact that this determination and this belief that anything is possible. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm someone who has this crazy faith that I don't allow my environment and the things around me to determine actually how I should be. So Evans is tenacious, well determined, and I'll say that I believe wealth, I believe goodness, blessing is highly contagious. So if he can be blessed, I can be blessed. If she is doing well, I can do well. And if I start well, she can also start well. And therefore, together we can all rise. So I believe in abundance mentality. I believe in relational thinking and a lot of that. In a nutshell, I'm married to this beautiful lady, Dr. Christiana.
Please give us a wave. I know she's very, very shy. But so we'll get to her later.
She's a bit reserved. I'm a bit open. So you see more of me and less of her. We balance it out there.
Fantastic.
And I have 3 boys. So currently I'm a lecturer in this university with the management department. I teach BBA, MBA. I also help with the technology department, MTech, so I'm in charge of entrepreneurship. So I do a bit of strategic management, finance and stuff. I have also my own consultancy firm called XTATBiz, which we are going really, really well next year with a lot of projects, both local and international. I'm also a serial entrepreneur on the side, and I do things, so we'll talk about them.
I hope you are taking notes. I really do hope you are taking notes. Why should I believe that this person can teach me anything at all? If he hasn't done it, all he's doing is regurgitating some things you've heard or read. But what we are doing here today is he has done it, he's doing it, and he has the humility and the generosity to say, I want to teach you. So if you had any reservations about the credibility of the author, I hope it has been cleared. So all these varied millions of topics that could ever have inspired you to write on. Why wealth?
I think this question is actually one of the most important ones whenever I want to talk about this book. I remember way back in 2005, there's a bit of a religious reason, but it's something that moved me. For those who know me, I've been very, very religious. I'm a Christian, and I take my Christianity quite very, very, very seriously. So in 2005, 2006, we went to evangelize to some few people around our Asokoro Mampong area. There was this young girl, and when we finished, she gave her life to Christ. She wanted to go to church with us, everything, but something actually happened. She told a story, and that story really turned my head around. So she said this, I'll be honest with you. Currently, I have a boyfriend. She's older than me. My parents, they live in this uncompleted building. Life is difficult for us. There's this boyfriend who pays my fees. The same boyfriend takes care of my family. I want to follow Christ. I want to go to church with you. It means I would have to break up with him. And when I do, I wouldn't be able to go to school tomorrow. My family, they wouldn't get anything to feed on. So when this thing hits me so hard, the first project I worked on in 2006, I remember, was called In For You. The concept was so simple. We don't just bring the gospel to the people, we don't just preach to the people, but we want to help people to know and understand wealth and generate wealth themselves. So back then, I came up with an idea where memory verses, I placed them on cards, just like playing cards, how we have them. And then you have maybe John 3:16 on one side, and then the verse in words on the other. So as I went around sharing the word of God, for example, I made people buy them, and I raised money. And that lady was the first person I took care of. And I was in my teens, by the way. So you look at a thing carefully, and I realized one particular thing, that the gospel was not enough. I needed money to make that thing happen. For a while now, I sit here, and a lot of people are here, they all would attest to it. They have dreams, they have aspirations, people want to do a lot of things, but they are stuck where they are. They want to do more, they can't go forward. They have aspirations, ambitions. I had an interview with my friend Amadankan. Yeah, there she is. And I remember telling her, you see her with all the dreams and all the ambitions. If she had the necessary money to fuel all her dreams, she would be influencing so many lives. But the harshness of poverty, we all see it, we cannot deny it. So I realized that we live in a part of our world where people don't believe in their dreams. Felix came from the United States. Whitney is there, and they will tell you the American dream. Because you have an enabling environment where every child can dream. Things are made possible. In our part of our world, if somebody doesn't know a politician, he doesn't know a big man, he doesn't have someone, they think they cannot dream. They have to live ordinary lives. So I realized that no, this issue has to be addressed. It's taken me over 8 years to write this book. And to be honest, the book was in different stages, in different formats, in different forms. But one particular theme that runs through it is that, can we make wealth a possibility for everybody? It doesn't matter our background. So I didn't come in here, and I've not written this book as a guru, as a specialist, as someone who says, I know everything. It is literally a hungry boy who says that, hey, I want a better life for myself. I think I found some. I'm experiencing some. And I think we can all do it. Why wait to become the Bill Gates before I share with the world? Let me share with them and let all of them experience it with me. By the time I become Bill Gates, I think I'll be there with you.
Awesome. The story behind the invention, the creation, explains what passion went into it. And if you identify with that passion, it gives you an idea of how useful that invention will be to you. And I am glad that we have you in our generation, because I know a lot of people have encountered a lot of people who are in need, but not everybody come out of that experience planning and thinking about, how do I change it? She said there are so many ideas and dreams, but if the means to achieve them are not there, even the consideration that I have to exploit this idea is dead on arrival. So we are grateful that you got that inspiration from that condition. How was the writing process for you? Especially the subject of wealth. I know we can have this perfect investing idea today, and by tomorrow something called the NASDAQ or something would obliterate that particular strategy, and it will make it useless. How was the process for you? So that anyone who is taking inspiration, so talk to us, Doc. How was the process? I mean, especially, like I said, on a subject like wealth, how was the writing process like?
I think it's a subject that I don't think this could capture everything. First and foremost, I couldn't literally capture everything here. But I'll be very honest with you, it's been a very, very, very tough one. I'm someone who would have an ideology that I want to render the complex so simple. So anybody who picks this book, though it's as technical as it should be, I try to break it down to the barest minimum so that anybody with no finance background, no investment background, you have nothing about money, you could still read it and understand it. So it's both academic, it's inspirational, motivational, and everything. But the most difficult part for me with this book is that now it's 357 pages. Originally, it was almost 850 pages.
I remember when you first told me about the size of the book.
And the reason is that this is actually 5 components of the book. So if you see some of them, it's actually pentagon. So you have wealth creation here and ends at wealth distribution, and the rest are over there. So it was supposed to be 5 books. Is Charles here? Charles Osewusu? Charles? Yeah. Charles is over there. So he's my advisor when it comes to design and layout. Charles, thank you so much. So
Let's give us a wave. There are over 300 people here.
So Charles was like, no, Doc, I think we should do the 5 books. Then I'll come with my team, Kennedy and Prince and stuff, and then, okay, there they are. And they'll tell me, no, we have to come out with one solid book. But then I realized one thing. These actually blocks are all interlinked. So separating them means somebody would think that when I'm done with creating wealth, that's the end. That is the reason why it ends at wealth is generational, how you distribute it. So then finally, we agreed that we'll put all of them together, try as much as possible to make sure that it's well abridged without making it lose its value. So that it's still some small pages, it's almost 400. It's okay, you can all read it still. But this is the best way I could. But the most difficult one, I think my wife will be honest with all of you. For about 2 months, I was literally not sleeping in the bedroom. I have an office at home. I just make sure the kids, they all go to sleep and I go back to the office. I work the whole dawn. It's been tireless. Sometimes one day I was working, busy, grinding and working. No, you're standing at the door and just watching me grinding, and I was sitting in my head. She came and then said, take your time, relax. So it's not been an easy journey, but I think the passion has been it. The fact that I see this every day. But I'll be very honest with you on something. When I started this book, I was on the rise in terms of my money matters. Almost everything I was touching was turning gold. Literally everything was turning gold. Then I started having some dip in 1 or 2 things. And 2021 became probably one of the most difficult years for me. A lot of emotional problems, relationship issues, with people, a lot of things happening at the same time. And I always, will be honest with you, I'm a Christian, so I go to, she knows, I'm a nocturnal guy. At dawn, I'm always with God, I'm talking, I'm with myself, praying, everything. And then I was like, is this the time? Because this year looks so tough for me. When I say tough, I have multiple issues all hitting me. And at the same time, I'm at the best of my life. So it's like very bad news coming in, very good news coming in. Do I wait? Do I go? But then I realized this particular thing. The reason why a lot of people even seated here are stuck with their dreams is that all of us are waiting for the storm to settle. We all want that moment where everything is good to go. But I realize it will never come. Professor Jackson is here. He'll be honest with you. I remember on his birthday, 71st, he said something. As simple as life is, make everything around you simple. Life will be complex. There'll be storms, there'll be everything. Just do it. That is all. So I told myself, whether I'm at the best moment of my life, and then you ask yourself, what is happening at the same time here? But then I just realized, and I'm telling everybody here, you can never ever wait for everything to settle. In this very, 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 very story and storm, this is where the glory is. And I think it's glorious with all of you. Thank you.
Fantastic. So interestingly, the most dangerous pathway was the fastest and the quickest. So it brings everything you are saying into a lot of perspective. If we are waiting for everything to be okay, probably that will be after you are dead, right? Thank you very much, Doc. And the advice is well taken. Yes. And we all know that wealth creation or the wealth journey, there are actually 2 major pathways. The get rich quick pathway. So those are the betting, the lottery, the scams, the 419s, the Ponzi schemes and stuff. And then there's also the get rich slowly pathway. Savings, investment, multiple streams of income and all those things. When I read your book, it looks to me you are in group 2. Why should we take our time and get rich slowly, as the book seems to be implying? Why not the first group?
So actually, it's not necessarily a slow lane path, but it's actually not a get rich fast scheme that I'm proposing. So there's both the fast lane, the middle lane, and there's actually the slow lane. So MJ DeMarco in his book talks about it. So the first most important thing that I want people to know is that wealth is not only materialistic. And that is where the real problem is. A lot of people have limited wealth to just the ostentatious style of living and the show off about luxury. So when we see cars, we see buildings, we check the bank accounts and stuff. People think that's where wealth ends. So normally, there are two components that I think everybody here should know and should apply. The first part is the definition of wealth that you should have. And the next one is the path that you would choose towards wealth. So in my book, I come up with what we call the MIPS wealth definition model. I realize that so many people define wealth, and wealth means different things to different people. So there's a story from J.L. Collins that I want and I like to share a lot. So he said that there were two friends, myself and Felix. So Felix actually and I, so let's assume Felix he becomes a minister and then I become a monk. So we grow up and then we meet, and Felix comes with all his entourage, like my very good friend Nana has come. And he looks so glorious in everything that he has come with. And then I come in my priesthood nature with no sandals and stuff. And then Felix then tells me, hey, my friend, if you had learned how to actually cater to a king, maybe you'd have been a minister like me and not lived only by rice and beans. Then I, the minister, also tells him, my friend, if you had lived or learned how to live by rice and beans only, then you don't also have to learn to cater to the king. In other words, he thinks he's successful. I also think I'm successful. And that is where wealth I start from. So to some people, wealth is materialistic. In finance, in accounting, we define it by net worth, which means that all the things that I have as against all the things that I owe to other people, when we net it, that is how much I'm worth. Now, what actually happens here is that is a definition people keep in their mind. But then there is a second component. Some people, wealth is independence to them. They can get all the money, but if you don't give them that time independence, where they have the time to be where they want to be, do what they want to do. I remember when Felix called me, I was like, now we are working remotely. So I just need my internet to work. Can you fix me up? All he needs is internet. So whether he's in Ghana or he's in the States, he can work. In other words, he has what we call geographical independence. He doesn't need to be stuck in the United States to work. So to some people, that is what they want, the freedom to move around. To some people, it's a financial independence where literally everything with their kids and their family and their dependents is all sorted. Their problem that they are worrying about is that $10 million to expand business, not what to eat, and those things are totally covered. So those are the first two. And then there is people who think that wealth is actually physical, where people say that your health is your wealth. So what is money if you don't have the health to enjoy it? So some people, health is everything to them. So if they have to quit their 8 to 5 job just to remain healthy and get a lower salary or something, they are okay. They just want to live long. They want to have time. That's what they want. Some is psychological, where people want to have that spiritual peace of mind. Some people are doing certain things, living in certain countries, certain places. They have a lot of mental stress. You're a mental health coach, and to some people that means more than any money in the world, even more than their independence. They just want to have that peace of mind. So if it means that they have to go and stay in a village and work, is for them. And then the last component is social. And I like using the case of this drug lord. I never want to mention his name, but you all know him, most of you. He was a drug lord in Colombia. And this man had money so much that it was stuck in his house. in cemeteries, on the ground, stashed dollars all over the place. Yet he wanted to be the president of Colombia. And when he was not allowed to be, it broke him, and that's where he became very, very violent. In other words, all the material wasn't enough. The independence wasn't enough. He needed to be recognized in society as that top man. So there are some people here, give them material and you don't make them very powerful in society, it still will not satisfy them. So I try to first help everybody gathered here to first identify what is world to me. Which component do I believe in? Now, they are all not totally disjointed, or they are not mutually, I don't like using complex words, mutually exclusive, allow me to use it. So they are not disjointed or separated from the other. So some of you, all that you need to know is that which one is higher. Now the next stage of it, which a lot of people miss the point, is this. When you use my bets, when you use these scam, juju, those things, what actually happens is this. You are actually trying to beat the laws of nature. And whenever a man, people don't get this thing. I may not know the laws of gravity, but I tell you, if I step here, I'll not suspend, I'll fall. Whether I know it or I'll fall.
Yes.
These same principles apply in our lives. So what happens is this. When you choose to go through that, my bet, the main problem with it, I don't want to go to the morality of it, or as it's good or it's bad. We know what that is. But the problem is the addiction to it and the false hope that is sold to you. It is a hope that is not real. That money is not working. It's you, me, him, and that coming together and one person being lucky to get it. And luck is a probability of 1 out of a million. The odds are different. Now, what I show in my book is, let's not wait for luck. Let us create our own luck. Let us create our own opportunity. So I group all of us here, after our definition, into 4 quadrants, 4 different groups of people. So there are those who are dreamers, people that cannot just literally sit aloof with their dreams. They run with it. So those people end up being entrepreneurs. I'm one of them. Those people end up being musicians. There are some here. Those people end up being actors. Some men of God, kings, chiefs. They end up being a whole of, because they have a dream, they have a passion that they follow.
Okay.
So at the beginning, it may not be easy at all. But those people have a faster lane. So their lane is not slow. It's very, very fast. It is the reason why this young lady was named Jackie, who has literally not even finished KNUST Business School, is now literally richer than some of her lecturers. She doesn't even have to wait to finish school. Her talent has taken her there. We had this gospel artist who was around 15 years, I've forgotten, it's a very past something, who became very sensational, got money very early, because it is not according to your chronological age, literally. That one is very fast. But those people, they suffer a lot. Diana Hamilton has been in the system for how long? But now she's shining. She's on Enterprise Life. But we saw her when the Esther Smith and stuff were hitting. She was around. But she was not a hit. Today, she's the biggest star now. Okay. So sometimes it takes time, it takes everything. Now, the second quadrant is actually those that people have conflicted it. And I want to always clarify this. People think, and this one I have to be specific on it, that everybody would have to quit their job to be rich. And I want to put this caveat here and a disclaimer. You don't have to. He's a big guy in his company, very, very big. Why should he quit to start his own thing? Maybe because of A, B, C, because he's a dreamer. That is a different ballgame. But I don't want anyone to be coerced by marketers, coerced by some book authors telling you that the only way is that you have to quit your job, go and start your own business. Not everybody is good at starting business. I teach entrepreneurship. It is an art you have to learn.
Not everybody should be an entrepreneur.
Not everybody. It's something that has to be clear. Some of us would have to remain in our jobs and will still do that. So those people are called corporate climbers.
Okay.
In other words,
but I won't let you do all 4. The reason is that I want you to do the 2
to go and read the rest.
And the people hoping to hear the 3 and the 4 is in the book. Let me just ask my last question. And according to my MC, we can get questions from the audience, right? Fantastic. So, why should anyone read Intentional Wealth? When I read the book, I got something specific in the book. The entirety of the book said, this is possible. I can tell you for a fact, every excuse you can come up with, every reason why you think you cannot be wealthy, the book answers it. By the time you are done, your questions have been answered. And the idea is, this is possible. So from the author's own mouth, why should anyone at all, those who are watching us, those who are listening to us right now, why should anyone at all even take the time to say, I want to read this book?
So there's something so amazing that I would want to tell every single one gathered here. You can decide to go the hard way, which means go through the hassle and the bustle of life and learn it, or simply learn from someone's work. You can take 25 years to understand what money is, or you can take 25 minutes to have a notion of it. So this is a practical expose. It is a guide. It is actually something so practical that can change or bring that behavioral change in your life today. A friend of mine sent me an audio, and that audio, I listened to it over and over. He said this then: if some of us had learned these things way back in SS, the mistakes we've made today, we wouldn't have made them. I don't want that to be your story. This wealth is possible. The earlier we start, the better we all get it. Thank you.
Fantastic. The Chinese have a saying that the first time you should have planted a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is to plant it today. And if you read a book like this, if it takes you 3 months to read this book, you are actually getting to know what took him over 30 years. So a book is the culmination of an author's life, experiences, lessons, all the monies he's invested in, all the education he's had, and all the pricelessness of the experience he's had. And he has put everything together in this book for you.
Let's do that. So we'll take the last questioner from this side. Prof.
Thank you. I'm very passionate about this question. When I was speaking earlier, I was talking about a gap. We have so many resources and other things, but still we can't create the wealth that we need. But those people who have made it big in this country, we can talk about Upuku Transport, we can talk about Apiamenka, we can talk about other sawmill companies and other things. When the wealth creator is not there, the business is gone. And that is what I would like Doug to talk about, from his book. What is the solution? How can we stop that? So that we don't see the present world makers in the country, when they die, they all go. I like my this way chocolate drink. I just share. I want you to continue, not to die when they... Yes, thank you.
All right. In other words, how do we create generational wealth? Thank you. The second questioner was a lady from this side. Yes, the one behind it.
Okay, my name is Portia. I'm a lecturer in this university.
Fantastic.
Dr. Duah is a deep person. Like I said, he's a very deep person. And I actually told him, Dr. Duah, I'm just about starting my career. And then I don't want to make certain mistakes when it comes to wealth creation. And so I told him I'll be going to him for Apple, like locally. And so when I saw that he's launching a book, I was super happy. I was like, I couldn't wait to read it. But then at my first glance, I saw Intentional Wealth 2.0. And I'm like, where is the 1.0? Is there an earlier one? If there is, what was in there that is different from what we have in now? So yeah, that's my take.
Doc mentioned about 3 speeds as to getting money. And he mentioned one, which was my bet and stuff like that. My question is, would you liken trading stocks, futures, and investing in stocks to my bet and as a cheat to the system? Okay, thank you.
My name is Teddy Ejeabwa, and Doc mentioned about having the abundance mentality. So I want him to explicate.
Thank you very much. My name is Heavens Akana. My question has to do with these days, the way people are fast in adopting others' ideas. That I plan that one day, if I get opportunity or the resources, I will operationalize it. Here's the case, maybe they will invite people to come and talk about your business idea. As soon as you deliver it, somebody picks it up. The person has the resources and he goes to, take it and leave you. How do you protect that?
Thank you.
Until the right time? Thank you.
Okay. So, Doc, please respond to us.
Okay, so thank you so much. So, I think, Prof, you've mentioned this, and I really think it's something that you are really passionate about. And for a while now, I actually nearly did my entire first thesis on this gap that we are talking about. For a while now, you hardly see any Ghanaian business which is about 100 years. It's very difficult. I worked with Societe Generale. I had exposure with them in Paris, La Défense, and Casablanca and Agadir, Morocco, before I came to Ghana. And Societe Generale at 2018 or 17 was about 200 years old. 200 years. So a family business or bank has now turned into a national French asset, which they've exported it to all over the world. How come our Ghanaian businesses are not thriving beyond first generation to move into second, third, and fourth? This is the reason why the entire book is called Building with a Pentagon Wealth Model. In the first block of the model, I talk about wealth creation. I break it down. I even teach a model which I call the heptagon wealth creation model. Basically, I let people understand how wealth is literally created. Because if we don't understand the process of creation of wealth, then it becomes that we are waiting for luck or we are waiting for our next salary. It wouldn't actually just happen. So I do that, which most of us are aware. In the next stage of it, I talk about wealth being accumulated and accelerated. So when we create wealth, at a point we have to accumulate it, and we need to learn how to exponentially increase that wealth that we have. In the third block is wealth management, and that's where we have a lot of problem. So I don't go most importantly to the technical part of wealth management, but I break it into three different parts. I'll talk about two, the rest you read it in the book. So there's a financial literacy that people miss. If you don't learn the language of money, you cannot speak money. So first and foremost, anybody here who wants to earn money and you don't speak the language of money, you are just sitting at the door of lack for money, and you wouldn't come. So we need to first learn the language of money. We need to understand what language. Otherwise, if today, en fait, je change ma langue, je commence à parler en français, personne ne va rien comprendre. So what I just said, I said, so in other words, what it means is that the moment you don't understand a language, then it means you cannot comprehend what is being said. And that is the problem that we have. The discipline part in wealth management is what we lack. I tell people, anybody who does not understand that money is not a stock concept, it's a flow concept. So it's not about how much money you are keeping. It's about how much money comes to you and how much money is leaving you. The concept of cash flow. Now, that concept is what is going to make the difference with the first generation. If that person does that, in other words, despite can spend 10 million Ghana cedis a month, if he's earning 20 million, he will still be rich. In other words, make sure that you are spending within your revenue or your income. We are good to go. It doesn't matter how big you are spending. As long as it's within how much is what? coming in and the rest going into other places. Now, the next stage of it, because I've told you about the three, is where people don't learn to protect. I have my friend Emmanuel Dati around from Prudential. Yes, good. This man would literally, I'm sure he will start hustling some of you before he leaves. Can I get a number? Can I get this? Ghanaians don't like insurance. We don't protect it. The reason why anyone who will do these 3 blocks will end up protecting their wealth is because it's sweat and it's blood. If you had to do strong work, I see Dr. Faisal 9 p.m. is at the office working, and he earns his money, and the following day, God forbid, somebody like Dr. Faisal then gets an accident. He's incapacitated, he cannot work, or his house is burned to the ground. If he has a life insurance, he will be good, even after accident. If he has insurance for his house, he'll be good, even after that incident. But Ghanaians don't want to pay for it. So wealth protection is not just for you, but for your dependents. I wouldn't say, then I'll say this here, the mechanisms we put in place to protect our wealth is actually not even for the first generation. It's for the second, it's for the third, and even beyond. Now, the last part that most people are missing is this one, wealth distribution. A lot of people today, if I ask how many of us, and I see lawyer George, my brother George Duah there, I just saw him. If you ask him how many people have a will, it would surprise you. Most of us here, we don't have a will. You know, because we think it's bad omen to talk about death. But please, who will not die here 200 years from today? We'll all be gone. So whether we like it or not, we will die. So we need to plan after our death. It is something we have to do. And the way we are going to do it is what I call, there's asset protection. There is that wealth distribution that we are going to do. How do we do it? We don't wait till our children come of age before we hand it over to them. Today, before this program started, I was here with my firstborn. Those who were here, he was running all over the place. He was with me when I was signing my book. I am actually, in a subtle manner, imprinting everything about me into that little boy. I don't want him to wait before I sit him down. At 2 a.m., my last boy will come and sit on top of me working, and I'll be working with him. They want to do what I want to do. They all want to wear spectacles, though they don't have eye problem. They just want to be like daddy. My wife is here. My children, they all want to be like daddy because they are with me, doing what I'm doing. So the main problem we have as of today is that a lot of people, Adekalas is an example. What happens? We don't plan it with our children. So when we are gone, we have a problem. So I wish I could give you a straightforward answer, but I still want you to read the book because I've answered it beyond that. So point number 2. So for Portia, Intentional Wealth 1.0 is actually the fact that I acknowledge that every one of us here have what we call money story or money script. In other words, there is an idea of wealth you have. As of today, before reading my book, you know how you are earning your money, how you are spending your money, how you are doing your things. I told you I don't want to come out as a guru. So the Intentional Wealth 1.0 is what you're already doing, what you already have, what you are already practicing. I am just presenting you 2.0 because I don't want to come out as the all-knowing person who knows everything. I acknowledge you have it. I'm adding to what you have. That makes sense. Alright. So he asked a very good question. People talk about, okay, so stock trading. I don't want to go into all these derivatives and all these technical things. Let's stick with just the stocks. Is it also the same as betting? No. One is well calculated. One is based on data. Those who do what, and Felix is very good with that. Today, I tell people that, and people are missing the point. The wealth of tomorrow may not be gold. I'm using may because I'm a researcher, so I always don't want to make emphatic statements. The wealth of tomorrow may not be $1, but will be data. The man with data, the man with information. People have no idea how Facebook is getting richer. People have no idea the data that is collected. Recently, I did a whole work for an institution on Visa card fraud. And I realized that it is so easy to do it. That is why these young boys are doing this scam thing. Unfortunately, if I told you, I don't know who would go and do it. And when I understood the mechanism, I literally realized that that is exactly what a lot of people are doing. Now, betting on one side is simply not calculated. The young guys, I went to Accra and I had some Christians who are now betting, and they wanted to even quote scriptures to me and tell me why betting is good. Because the guy is earning about 1,000 a week from it. And he was telling me it's good for him. I said, no problem. How much have you earned so far? He said, I've earned, from the beginning we calculated 40,000. That's excellent. But how much have you staked so far? About 80,000. I said, okay, good. Have you realized that you're actually putting in more than you are actually earning? That is the thing with betting. You can get lucky, but nobody's lucky always. It doesn't happen that way. So that is why this book is teaching you to put your odds, okay, like we say in betting, put that odds, but this time in your favor. So when I'm going to invest in MTN, okay, I don't want to use the technical terms, let me speak the language of everybody here. And then I see that MTN has a huge potential. But I am a financial analyst, okay, so I'm officially a chartered global investment analyst, financial analyst. And then I read, okay, and analyze the data. And I realized that because of ABC, so I predict ABC based on the data, and I decide not to invest. It is not better. It is an informed decision. That is the difference. Question number 4. Teddy, you asked about abundance mentality. There's a problem we have in Africa. We fight ourselves. It's so bad. People don't know. Felix and I think maybe, I don't know who is the number one cheerleader of the other. I don't know. Because when he wins, it's like, I have what? Won. I'm excited, super excited. When I'm winning, he's so super excited. I don't know if you get where I'm coming from. Now, this is the mentality of most people. And I want to explain it with this. A lot of people think that the world is like this piece of cake. So Dr. Tina J takes half of the cake. This cake is for all of us here to share. Then he takes half of this cake. It means that the rest of us gathered in this room have half of the cake to share. That's how people think. But that is wrong. If anybody who traveled today, I have Dr. Reju there and the wife. They came all the way from Accra to this program. They didn't even tell me they were coming. I am always shocked to see the number of land that is not used between Accra and Kumasi. Have you realized that? We still have a lot of land that is not used. And this is the main road. You've not gone inside. You are using just what? The main road. There is so much untapped areas for you and for what? For me. Today, let Prof be the Dean of Business School. Support him. Be with him. The government of Ghana wants to create 3 more what? Universities. If you serve him right, maybe he'll be the one to recommend you when they're opening what? The next one. Because the world is not like one piece of cake. It's an infinite cake. If he takes a part, there's still so much left for us that I don't have to envy what he's serving. Envy and jealousy has been the main problem of so many of us. Today, instead of somebody being happy that this person is rising, they think that if he rises, he will dim my light. So sometimes, if you are not careful, there are some people you have to even dim your light so that they can shine. If your light is shining too much, but let me be honest with you, I'm sure some of you didn't even know about this school. It's possible. Somebody came here and didn't know about Amosted. It's even possible. Today, I've brought you here. True or false? So if I shine, am I not giving honor to the university? So if somebody is a lecturer and say, this guy is shining too much, I don't like it. Okay, I will dim. Then we all dim. Where do we go? I hope you are getting it. But let us shine, and together we will be at the top. I'll take the last one. That was Heavens. Yes. So I did it was called The Spear of Copycat Trading in Africa and how that is affecting businesses. You start something today, the following day, somebody else is doing it. How do you stop them? I've written my book today. I will not be surprised that a month later, somebody will copy and adapt it in a different way. But there's something we call the advantage of the first mover. Now, he brought in a product that he was working on and somebody went to do the same thing, the same design, everything. What did he change? I think it was the name. Just the name. Can you imagine my book like this? The person does the same design, everything. And just instead of intentional word, he puts deliberate word 2.0. Just that. Everything, even this, everything. Even maiden, though it was not made there, the same thing on it. So we reported the person. We were going to take the person to court. But then something happened. Sales started shooting up instead of falling. Sometimes these copycats authenticate yours. Sometimes. So there is that first case scenario. We realize that their copycats anoint people, and for that reason, when people come and say, "Papa no," I hope you are getting it, because they realize that somebody else is messing up. These are things you cannot sometimes work around, but there are things like trademark, patent, and all stuff. So this book is copyright here in Ghana and in the United States. From the 26th, 27th, the book will be available on Amazon. People can purchase. So nobody can steal my frame, my models. You can't steal it. You can still try and copy. But when you copy, then people say, "Oh, originally, Dr. Evans Duah made it." So I want you to be honest with you. People copy you. People steal from you. But you enjoy the advantage of the first mover. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Please don't buy the book and use it to decorate your living room. So please, let's make this intentional. All right? Teaching our children and those around us about finances. Let's make it intentional.